Okay, and welcome along to the second part of the Week 5 lectures to provide a little bit of guidance before you go out on your placements for the teaching and learning course. All right, so today I'm hoping that the other lecture worked. I actually was trying to work out how to convert to an MP4, MP3, but I'm thinking about actually screen recording that and then potentially uploading the lecture as a YouTube clip for you. So anyway, a little bit about reflective teaching, which is the third aspect of your assessment. So let's hope all the technology goes well for us this afternoon. First of all, what it actually means. So it's looking at what you do in the classroom, thinking about why you do it, and thinking about if it works or not. And teaching, it's not always perfect. It's about trialing different strategies, different processes, different groupings, students together, all of that. So it's all a developmental process, and you can be doing it for years and years. And those experiences can help you adapt as you go along. So it's a process of self-observation and self-evaluation. Becoming a reflective teacher involves moving beyond the primary concern with instructional techniques and how-to questions, and it allows you to begin the process of asking the what and why questions, not in regards to instructions and managerial techniques as an end in themselves, but as part of a broader educational purpose. So you've got your lesson plan, you've done all of your preparation and related to the specific curricular level, and then you've gone to teach it in a classroom setting, or you've seen your mentor teacher deliver the lesson, and sometimes it doesn't go as well. It could be behavior management issues, it could be something that throws a spanner in the works. It could be the weather, or someone gets sick, or who knows what the interruption may be. And from there, rather than just going away and teaching the same thing again, if it didn't work quite as efficiently, and it's very hard to actually perfect anything in life. So there's always something that you could think about. Even if it worked well, thinking of how can I enhance it even further? And that's essentially what reflective teaching is, and how to improve upon what you're doing. And over years and years, you can refine that. And so one of the key aspects of this course is obviously the journal entries, and this is promoting reflective teaching. So you're collecting information about what's going on, not only in the classroom, but you're analysing and evaluating the information that's put forth through the course modules and LearnLine. You're also identifying and exploring your own practices and underlying beliefs. So that's a little bit about your past experiences, or it could be you're starting to frame your philosophies, and that's framing how you teach. And then you're reflecting on the process of actually trying to facilitate learning. And as you're learning, you're going to undergo, there's going to be different time constraints in your classroom, how long you're speaking for, maybe your positioning or tone and pitch to the students, your teaching strategies, all these things. And you're going to evaluate and reflect and what happened. And from there, you'll actually work out what's your best approach in different situations, and reflective journal is really good for that, including your reflections in your assessment, and hopefully you reflect when you become fully fledged graduate teachers. And this will lead to changes and improvement in your teaching. So reflective teaching therefore is a means of professional development, which begins with us and focuses on our classroom. Well, not just our classroom, but the whole approach to teaching. So recording, analysing thoughts and observations, and we're going to provide a bit of a structure and to really guide your reflective process. And one of the most important things with reflection is not to just document what happened, You need to draw meaning from those experiences rather than what actually happened. So reflecting upon it in relation to theories and teaching approaches and your development. So it could be from this course or watching your mentor, whatever it may be. If a lesson went well, we can describe it and think about why it was successful. And if we describe why it was successful, then that's going to allow us to really document and replicate having that successful lesson in the future, drawing meaning, what actually, making that link between your teaching approach and how learning was facilitated. The students can understand a language point we introduced. We need to think about what we did and why it may have been unclear. And it involves a bit of thought process sometimes to find out exactly and pinpoint why that connection didn't occur. And the more you learn and observe and understand, then the easier that connection will be. If students are misbehaving, what were they doing, when and why? There are a few stages of reflection. So first of all, it's the event itself, the starting point, the actual teaching episode. I guess it doesn't need to be an entire class. It could be one instance within a lesson, an instructional event. It could be you introduced the lesson for too long and the students got a little bit disoriented or whatever it may be. And it's usually the teacher's own teaching, which is a reflection. Stage 2 is creating an account of what happened without explanation or evaluation. So your process of how you maybe delivered a certain aspect of the lesson. And then from there, continuing with stage 2, so obviously set up within the assignment is your journal. So you should be reflecting regularly. Peer observations if you can, so it could be even your buddy process, recording lessons, student feedback, so a discussion board. It could be you could be reflecting on that your learning journey yourself in relation to pre-service teaching. And then with stage 3, review and respond to the event, and this can be processed at a deeper level, looking at the experience and maybe relating it to the theoretical side of things and what you've learned so far, especially within this course. Why did the events occur as they did? And you can expand upon that. You could a good way is to talk to your mentor about it. You could use a discussion board about a certain aspect that you're working on, and that could assist you to identify why the events occurred the way they did, if they didn't occur to your plan. You need to think, what are some patterns occurring in your teaching through the observation? So sometimes you have a certain approach, or even sometimes you may use a certain word. It could be trying to eliminate the word when you're talking. It could be your voice tone, positioning, as I said earlier, your management plan, those type of things. So I'm hoping next week, over the next few days or so, I'll be also record a lecture in relation to classroom management, and that will give you a range of different ideas, a bit of a management plan when students' behaviour does go a little bit off track. You may have been surprised by some of your students' feedback from questions that could be good or bad, and ideas for changes to implement. And it could be even something. It could be the latest research that was presented on the TV that day, and you're like, well, right, I wouldn't mind trying that. That's a really good angle to approach your teaching processes. It could be you have trialed a certain pedagogical approach, which I've talked about in today's other lecture about the lesson planning. What to do next? Talk about what you've discovered to a supportive colleague or friend, and you might have a totally different belief about what just happened. So if you believe that the classroom was a little bit unsettled, and and another teacher observing might just think, oh, they were constructively talking. So by talking to people, that can also change your angle about the whole process. If you have colleagues who also wish to develop their teaching, you can meet to discuss those issues. A list of statements about teaching beliefs you can discuss. Reading is really good. As I said, you could have heard something on the TV about a new research approach which is gaining momentum. You can even look at some of my research materials and approaches. I'm looking at how to develop children beyond the classroom, so not just using classroom strategies. Websites, journals, magazines, logbooks and unit plans, so you never stop learning. And pose questions to peers, supervisors, lecturers, teachers you respect, and forums. All of this will get different perspectives on how to actually approach different situations, especially as a pre-service teacher when you're learning, because you can draw upon a range of people's experiences and apply that to your own teaching expertise. So it's a cyclical process, because once you start to implement changes, then the reflective and evaluative cycle begins again. So I'll show you a perfect diagram just shortly. Lights just gone off on me there. So anyway, some questions to ask yourself, and you've got a lot of documents on the Learn line that will assist as well. So what are you doing? Why are you doing it? How effective is it? Sorry about that, that's just the font there, so I apologise for these question marks here. Oh, still getting used to, why isn't that working? There we go. These question marks, I apologise for that. How effective is it? How are the students responding, and how can you do it better? And at the very simplest type of questions, you could look at what you did well, what needs improving, and any other considerations. That's the very basic. Here's some extra questions for you to facilitate your own cyclical reflective process. And that's it's some of the best professional development to use reflection during your teaching processes. So as I said, what worked, what didn't work, biggest improvements, and just like when you're teaching a class, go away with 2 or 3 points to work on for your next class. Once you nail that, then go for 2 or 3 more. So for instance, when I first started, some of the things were positioning. It might have been consistency of how to start a lesson, transitions and those type of things. And then once you nail that, you could go on to a few more things. So you want to focus on maybe up to 3 points just really and to improve each lesson. So here's a bit of a framework for you. The 4 R's. You've got reporting and responding. So you can report what happened or what the issue or incident involved. Relate it, a connection to an issue or incident. Highlight in detail significant factors underlying the incident, and you can read through this in your own time, reconstructing that. How would you deal with it next time? So it's a little bit of a framework for you to also assist with all the other assessment documentation on LearnLine. Reflection statements. Often people think reflection is good or bad, right or wrong. It needs to be a lot deeper. So here's a little bit even more of a framework. So I wonder why. I'm having difficulty understanding why. A few things there. My teacher mentor made an interesting point that opposes my point of view. So that's where the interaction between others can really change your viewpoint. That lesson was a disaster. However, that student hasn't talked to me all the time I've been here. He finally contributed to the class. So there's just some statements to really help you reflective, not only for the assessment, also for your journal that we should be reflecting regularly, but also it should be a practice continuing throughout your teaching careers as well. I just want to leave you with a couple of things. It says outdoor recreation here, but I've just put it in. This is from one of my lectures in first semester, but you can relate this to teaching. So just like outdoor recreation, where you've got to experience the processes of some of those adventurous skills, just for teaching, for the things we have to learn before we can do them, we learn by doing them. So basically, it's under the assumption that it's important for you to immerse yourselves in situations that you may not be exposed to aid in your development. So you're about to go out on placement, provided all of this guidance, but it'll be not until you get out to these classrooms that you can really apply this information, and then from this you can actually reflect upon the process, and this is where the learning occurs. So you've developed the knowledge, you're going to apply it, and then we've got a nice diagram here that really shows it, really demonstrates that. So just like outdoor education, which I was teaching first semester, you have your teaching experience, you're having that experience, and this is after you've developed all of your knowledge from the modules that you've done and the assessment, and this is where reflection occurs. So you're thinking about how things work, did they work, all that type of thing, and then that's going to aid in your learning from the experience, and then from there you can try out what you have learned. So really, by experiencing some of these processes and classroom techniques and teaching approaches and lesson planning, once you try them out, you can reflect on it, and then that is how reflection can really assist in the experiential learning process. So there's a little bit of insight in relation to reflection, and I'm hoping to also get the lesson plan lecture up as well, which I've tried to pre-record on another Collaborate system, and so I might even have to screen record and upload onto YouTube. But anyway, a little bit of guidance for reflection for week 5 before you head out shortly to your placements and submit your assignments. Thank you.